So I'll talk about pretty much my experience so far, some of my experiences that I've come across from me being a father. Probably a couple of lessons I've learned, or a couple of changes I made to myself. So for all the fathers out there, there's going to be times you're going to be stressed. Just go ahead and accept the fact that there's going to be some nights where you will need to give the wife a break, give the lady a break. They're going to need time to recover, recuperate, and they're going through this phase where their body is pretty much trying to reacclimate itself, and it's going to be some time before it gets back to that point. And as men, we need to step up and help them with that process. And it's going to be, more often than not, you're going to have to take the baby and help. And believe me, I've done as much as I can just to make sure that my wife was as comfortable as possible. She got her rest. And for those of you that don't know, currently I am a stay-at-home father, so I am the one that's at home with the kids most of the time. So pretty much we were able to work out ourselves to the point where when she was on her maternity leave, we had a little schedule set up, because we'll work it out so that when one is up, the other one can get some rest, so that when it was time, like how the shift started, I pretty much had third overnight shift. So like, I'll go to bed first, and then she'll stay up with the baby, just so that someone can get some rest. And then once my time to clock in, I'll take the baby, she'll get her rest. And there are times where I would we both would actually stay up with each other, because we didn't want the other to feel like they was alone in the whole process. So I'll stay up as long as I can with her and be like, hey, you need help, I'll take it for a little bit, just, give you a little rest. Or we'll be trying to, we walk around, we bouncing that baby all day, bouncing, just try to get her to calm down, go to sleep, relax, calm down, baby, rocking, bouncing. That's all we doing. We a whole music video over here. We bouncing and we rocking. We trying to get her to go to sleep. And if I could, we would have a whole track in this in the middle of this kitchen, because we were walking around in circles, playing white noise, dropping pacifiers if we had them. We didn't want to try to overfeed the baby, because we don't want to feed them too much, because they end up spitting up from the all the formula they've been intaking. So we'll be over there walking around in a circle, white noise playing, bouncing, shoulders, knees going, we just bouncing. So I tell you that those were some long nights. And babies do go through this period of colic where they will be crying for no reason. Maybe there's a reason, but as far as we know, just be crying for no reason. They tired, they constipated, they hungry, they gotta poop in their diaper, they gotta poop but they can't poop it out, they gotta pee, they trying to pee, they can't pee, they're trying to get their lungs acclimated to the outside world. I don't know what it is. They're going through a phase and they're trying to get themselves together. But you have to it's a mental thing. You have to pretty much put yourself in a headspace where this is only a phase. This phase will be over. And then once you get to that, the phase was over, it's like a sign of relief. And then you can rest assured that it won't last forever. Just know it won't last forever. But just know when you're in those moments, it's going to be rough. Just get the bounce on. So as fathers, men, just make sure we're doing our part and making sure that we are helping the ladies out as much as we can. And it also helps to be as proactive as you can. Have bottles ready, pacifiers ready, diapers on the side ready, wipes, all kinds of medicines you're going to need, gas relief medicine. The gas relief has pretty much been the main thing that for us, because the babies do get a little gassy. They probably got a little gas, but it's probably why they're crying. They're trying to pass gas and they can't get it out. And you may have to lay them down, play with their legs a little bit, do little bicycles with them, help them out, pushing their stomach a little bit, not too hard. They're babies, not too hard. They are babies. Just hold their legs, push on their stomach a little bit, roll it down, let their gas come out. And, sometimes that's all they really need, this little relief. And it's, like I said, it's just a phase that they are pretty much going through, that they need to get acclimated to their bodies, because, they're out and they just need to feel like, well, we just have to make sure as far as that we're doing our part. And making sure that you ask questions, because we don't and we are not going to know everything. Just be comfortable with that. Just be comfortable knowing you're not going to know everything, and it is okay to ask questions. Trust me, I ask. And you just have to make sure that you are attentive and you are willing to help her whatever she may need. Sometimes I know with my wife, if the baby was crying and the baby couldn't get calmed down, she felt most comfortable with her holding the baby, because she feel like she has to make sure the baby's okay, and she don't want nobody else to hold the baby. That's just her thing. So what I would do was, I would be like, okay, what you need me to do for you, so that you don't have to do much more than what you're already doing now. And for us in the beginning, it was like a little for me myself, I was a little confused, just because when we had our first son, I didn't know what to expect, because it ain't like I was always around babies. I'm pretty much was around them when they was walking and talking, and they was in school, because I was always like a counselor or assistant director at a rec center, and I had them after all of this beginning phase. So with my first son, it was, I want to say it was that big of a challenge, and I don't want to say that it was easy going. All babies are not the same. I guarantee you. There are a lot of similarities between what the babies will do, how they act, but all babies are not the same. Some people say, oh, the baby was easy going, they didn't give me many problems. Or some people's like, that baby would not go to sleep to save their lives. They did not want to pacify. They fight, they kick, they squirm in their sleep. So what I can tell you is that all of our children, I'm pretty sure, if I remember correctly, because we got 4. Well, my wife will have to tell you about that one when I'm able to bring her on. But what I can say is, for the second one, he would have his times at night where, so he was on a pacifier. So usually if he had his pacifier, he was good for most of the time. He did spit up a little bit. It wasn't really much of an issue. And he had some allergies, but you go to the doctor, you figure out what it is, they change their formula, and they're able to, work around that, so that that gastro stuff won't give them too many problems with their stomach, and they'll be fine. So, but his main thing was pretty much the pacifier. He was on the pacifier. It was like, with the next one, we ain't putting him on the pacifier. We're moving on from that. So the next one is not on the pacifier. However, she was on the bottle heavy. They did not let her go. They needed it every time of the day. And it's pretty much it was like her soothing. That pretty much was her pacifier, was the bottle. And we made the mistake of keeping her on that a little longer than what we expected. And it took us longer for us to get her off the bottle than it was to get the second child off the pacifier. And if you want to know how we got him off the pacifier, we lost it, and I was not gonna look for it. So he just had to pretty much cry himself to sleep most of the time. And I'll have to, well, what I would eventually would end up doing was that I'll walk around with them, I'll hold them, like I said, bouncing around with them, and was walk around with them, let him calm down. When he calmed down, we'll lay him down, go to sleep. And that was pretty much his way of getting himself to go to sleep off the pacifier. He just gonna have to learn. That's just their way of learning. They'll learn that I don't have the pacifier to go to sleep, so now I have to go sleep without the pacifier. And it's gonna take a couple of days for them to get acclimated to all that. And the way we got my daughter I get our daughter off the bottle. So the way we got my daughter off the bottle was that we had her throw them all away. So this way she sees that she don't have bottles anymore. So it's pretty much, okay, let's get your bottles. Here's the trash can. You ready? She's like, yeah, word. Throw them away. She threw them all away. So now now it's pretty much like, okay, we in here deep. So because our first try when we getting her off the bottle, it was a loud house up in here, and we couldn't take it, and we pretty much caved into the idea of getting her off the bottle at that point in time, and we surrendered. We surrendered bad. So now the next couple of times we had her throw her bottles away. And now it's pretty much like, okay, you don't have your bottles, so let's go lay down. So that process, like I said, took a couple of days, and it's going to be a loud house because this is what they are used to doing to go to sleep or to soothe them down from something. And it's a process. And as parents, you're going to have to stand firm on these processes and just know that this phase will pass on as long as you can stick to it, as long as you get past that wall and tear it down to get to this next stage of development for them, knowing that okay, they're not going to have this is how they're going to act, but until they learn that they're not going to have this in order to get to this, then they're going to have to pretty much eventually work their way to either calm themselves down, or they're just gonna have to figure out in their head that okay, I have no bottle to go to sleep, so I guess I just go to sleep. And I don't know if that's the way how their brains work, but that's just how I see it happening, and that's just what we have going on. So now the youngest baby, she's gonna be 1 in a month, and we are pretty much in the process of dwindling her bottle intake down, and we just want to make sure we don't make the same mistake we did with the first daughter with having the bottle too long and that being a problem for her to soothe down. So there are times throughout the day where for her to go take a nap, I won't even give her a bottle at all if she's already eaten and had her like a sippy cup with a bottle. And I'll just lay her down with her, and this eventually she'll fall asleep on her own. So I know she's capable of going to sleep if she's tired enough, or even if she's full. So that's just a couple of things that you can probably do as well if you're looking to starting to get your child off the bottle. Make sure that you are, and if they're able to start on table food, start giving them more table food, and maybe give them 1 bottle right before you want them to go to sleep, so that they start having a routine where after they eat, maybe you do give them the bottle to go to sleep, or you don't give the bottle, give them like some water or something in a sippy cup, and instead see if they can soothe themselves to go to sleep, or you soothe them to go to sleep, just so that you are starting to get that process in of them getting off the sippy cup, and getting them off the bottle, so that you don't have to worry about that whole soothing thing and them being on a pacifier and all that, because the day we lost that pacifier, I was like, thank goodness. At the same time, I was like, damn, we lost it. But it's pretty much, parenting is basically a trial and run era. You see what works, you see what sticks, and if it works, you stick with it, and if it don't, you try something else. So I don't want to make it seem like the kids are guinea pigs, but we're pretty much just testing things out, and hopefully they stick and they keep with it, or we keep with it, so that they learn and move on from to the next thing. So it's been a a roller coaster of stuff, especially with these kids. It's fun, it's stressful at times, it's challenging, it pushes you to be, I would say, to be as authentic as you possibly can with your children, because believe it or not, they're going to take up after you, because you are setting the example, you're setting the stage for them of what they will be outside of your house. And that's another thing that as fathers is what we need to do. We need to make sure that we're setting the example, and that we are we just want to know that we just want to make sure that we are giving them the best example possible. And if we don't know what that example is, making sure that we give them the right resources so that they do have something to go to, or even someone. And I also just want to say for fathers to make sure that you're involved, and you're participating in things they like to do. So that's just my introduction to pretty much being a parent, being a father, really. So as a father, I'll say this: make sure that you're trying, and you're putting forth the effort, and don't be afraid to make mistakes. You're going to make them. Just accept that. You're going to make the mistakes. Just be willing to learn from those. I'll say learn from those things that didn't work, and instead try something different and see if that works instead. And you just want to make sure that you're looking out for your child's best interest. Don't ever not think about how your actions will impact your children, because they will. Just think about how your decisions will influence your children's decisions. The decisions you make will also have an impact on the life that you will provide for them. So just make sure to keep bettering yourselves to better them as well. Make sure you're making the right choices and providing them with the right lessons to help them grow in a way that they can excel higher and build on the foundation that you're giving them to go out and challenge the world themselves. So from one father to the next father, please make sure you do your part. Peace.